Messi!
Gonna heave one is
That pick and Pat Garrity
Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jacob Rudner here alongside Noah Cameras and Ariel Pinnerman, and welcome back to dTSPN. This week on the show, all we're going to be talking about is the NBA. We haven't really focused on them a lot this season, but with the All-Star Weekend kicking off this Friday night, we think it's fit to set the entire episode just about them. Before we get into the All-Star talk, we're going to talk a little bit about our mid-season surprises and some mid-season disappointments. We're going to talk a little bit about what they've done to this point, either right or wrong, and a little bit about what they could do from here out to the end of the season. Starting with our two surprises, we have Isaiah Thomas from the Boston Celtics. Standing at 5'9", he's looked fantastic this year. What can he do from here out?
So this year has been an MVP candidate for the Boston Celtics. Now, they were supposed to be good when they got Al Horford in the offseason, but he's taken his game to a whole other level. He's done so much for this team in the fourth quarter. He averages over 10 points a game, which leads the league. And I wish Westbrook and Harden were not having such good years, because then he would win MVP. He's not going to win it this year, but he's just been so much to this Boston Celtics team.
Our next surprise is the Utah Jazz, a team that came into the season not looking to be fantastic. They definitely were not projected to be bad, but they are a top team in the West right now. And what can we look forward to seeing them do for the rest of the season and potentially make a playoff run?
I think they're a really young team. They've really showed that they've got that chemistry. They've got Gordon Hayward, he's an all-star this year. Rudy Gobert, they've got Rodney Hood when he's healthy. So I think that if they can keep using that chemistry, that they can climb up to that 3, 4, or even 5 seed. So I think that this Jazz team is looking really bright this season.
Moving on, we have our two disappointments of the season to this point. We're going to talk a little bit about why they have been so bad and what these two teams can do to improve on their seasons for the second half. Two teams, why? Because they have a lot in common. Tell us a little bit about who they are and what we can look forward to.
So they're the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. Now, both teams this offseason went out and got a lot of players to upgrade their teams, but neither of them have panned out. The Knicks tried to get Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Courtney Lee to mesh with Carmelo Anthony. That hasn't worked. The Bulls got Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo to go with Jimmy Butler. That didn't work either. So both these teams have just tried to make their teams better, tried to make a run in the East, but neither have been able to do so.
Now we are going to talk about the All-Star Weekend, probably one of my favorite parts of the NBA season besides the finals. First, we're going to talk about the dunk contest. Last year's runner-up, Aaron Gordon, will be returning. Probably has a better shot to win this one because Zach LaVine is not coming back. But we do have a dark horse. Who is it and why?
So it's Derrick Jones Jr. on this side. Now, he's never attempted a dunk in an NBA game before. He hasn't even played an NBA game before. But he's in the dunk contest, which is allowed. And if you just see some of his highlights, you can look him up on YouTube or on Instagram. He has some insane dunking ability. He can go between the legs, 360 windmill. He does it all. So that's going to be exciting to watch. And this is his big chance to show who he is and show you that he can be in the NBA. So let's see if he can take it.
Next, we have the three-point contest. Defending champion Klay Thompson is returning. Tell us a little bit about why he has a shot to win and who else might take it.
I think Klay Thompson's the clear favorite. You know what he can do. He can catch and shoot it. He's got that quick shooting ability, and that's going to really help because you got to take a lot of shots and not a lot of time. But my dark horse is actually Nick Young. I think that he can make those shots. I think he can make them quickly like Klay Thompson. And I think that if he can knock them all down or close to all of them, then he can just beat Klay Thompson for that win.
Next, we have the All-Star Game, something that we are going to talk a little bit more in depth about. And why? Because the first subject that we're going to talk about is Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant having to play on the same court as each other and sit on the very same bench. What can we look forward to from this, and how is this going to work?
Well, we have Steve Kerr, who's the Warriors coach, coaching. We have 4 Warriors on the team, and then we have the Lone Thunder player, Russell Westbrook. So this is going to be interesting. Steve Kerr can have some fun with this. He can put the 4 Warriors on with Russell Westbrook and see what happens. He might take a backseat, not cause too much drama, but whatever the case, Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant are on the same team. They have to be on the same bench, so that's going to be something to look forward to.
And now, purely in your opinion, and just this is what you think, is it a mistake if Steve Kerr decides to do what you just said and put 4 Warriors and a Westbrook on the court at the same time and cause that much drama, or should he just mellow it out and stay normal here?
I think he should just mellow it out. Yeah. It's not fair for Russell Westbrook. He didn't deserve this. Even those comments about Kevin Durant, I don't think that they should cause more drama. I think that he should just mellow it out. and let all of them play, but just not at the same time.
Yeah, and then one more thing to add to this, just to think about, Russell Westbrook was snubbed as the starter. Stephen Curry and James Harden got the starting backcourt, and when Westbrook's mad, he can go off. So I think we should just watch for him to go off as long as Steve Kerr gives him the minutes. I think he's going to be going for that MVP award. I think he'll do it all because I think he'll be angry that he didn't get that starter.
Next, we are going to talk about the NBA trade deadline, something that is approaching quite rapidly. Some names are starting to fly around the rumor mill, and we have some big names that we are going to talk about really quickly. The first of them from the Brooklyn Nets is Brook Lopez. Do you see him on the move? If so, where?
Yeah, I see him on the move to a team that's in need of a big. And I think the good thing about Brook Lopez is he has so much skill. I mean, since he's on a bad team, they're not going to... I mean, they're going to try to get some young players, maybe a draft pick here or there, but I don't think they're going to try to get too much. I think they want to let him go. They want to start over, and I think this is a good move. And any team that really needs a big, he's a great big. He can shoot. He's really good in the post, and I think they could use him.
Next, we have Jahlil Okafor and Nerlens Noel, both from the 76ers. Two big men, and the reason that they're going to probably try and trade them is because of Joel Embiid. He's been absolutely phenomenal to this point in the season, and there really is just no need to have those two guys around anymore. So where could they possibly go?
I think both players are good options for any team. I think Okafor, you might see him on a team like the Pelicans or the Bulls. Both teams need that player. Mm-hmm. And then for Noel, I see him on a team like the Celtics who want to take that next step, get that power forward, and win championships. So I think that whatever team they go to, they're going to be a big help.
Finally, the two guys I want to talk about last before we wrap up the show is Carmelo Anthony and Jimmy Butler. Two guys that are on teams that we just talked about, being the Bulls and the Knicks, that are struggling. Obviously, Carmelo Anthony is the much more likely to be traded than is Jimmy Butler, but say they both are traded, what does that look like for the two franchises?
Yeah, so the Knicks and Bulls both, like we said earlier, they tried to get all these players in the offseason. They did not pan out. So I think the Knicks specifically need to just trade Melo to a team he wants to go to. Clippers, Celtics, Cavs maybe are the teams. You get a different franchise centerpiece to build the team around it because Melo's not the guy anymore. And the Bulls, I think they might want to just try again. Get rid of Rondo, get rid of Jimmy Butler, get a lot of pieces in return because Jimmy Butler's a great player. So get a lot of pieces in return, trade him to maybe the Timberwolves, maybe the Celtics, and then just start over. And now you can work again from the beginning, a rebuild type thing, but not as much. You'll have all these pieces now.
So the last thing I want to talk about, and it's specifically about Carmelo, is that is it smart for them to trade him right now, being the guy who he used to be for the Knicks? Obviously, he is having a little bit of a decrease in skill as well as in fan popularity, but should they trade him?
I think they should trade him. Keep in mind he has that no trade clause, so he gets to decide whether he gets traded or not. But I think that he should be traded. I think he should be traded to a team that's going to win because he hasn't won that ring, and I think that he deserves to win that ring with the way he's played his career. So I think that if he does move, then he should go to a winning team where he can strive.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does wrap it up for us this week on dTSPN. We thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week. Enjoy your All-Star weekend. Have a good one.